Hey everybody, Adam here. We're day 3 at Metrocon. I am here with the lovely Laura Bailey.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Laura is part of one of the biggest anime phenomenon that's ever happened for
I want to know what you're going to say.
Dragon Ball Z.
What?
We were talking with Trunks.
That's right.
And,
That's right.
actually, you've done a lot of anime.
Yeah.
You started early too.
I did. I started right out of high school.
That's really cool. Yeah. Also, main character Fruits Basket.
Aww.
One of my favorites.
One of the first things I ever did outside of Trunks.
That's awesome. Yeah. Also, big fan of Saints Row.
Awesome. Nice.
Yes. Saints Row 4. We talked with Nolan yesterday about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I had to read Laura's lines," and
that's
right. it was so cool. I mean, you're actually the voice I pick all the time too, because for some reason I always play female characters. They're more fun to play. I'm playing it now as Nolan, but
I may be partial to my own boss. I may be, but yeah, when we recorded that game, Troy Baker, when we did the third. Troy Baker was the original voice, and we all had to go in and match his timing. And it was impossible because Troy is like...
He's Troy.
Yeah, he's Troy, exactly. So he does all these weird reads and everything, which is fun. It makes us all better actors, but it's very difficult to match the timing. And so for Saints Row 4, I got to lay down the track. So I intentionally made it difficult so that Troy would suffer as much as I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Also,
everybody else just got caught up in the storm, and I'm sorry about that.
Also, Fiona, Tales of the Borderlands.
Yes!
One of my favorite new games. I am so excited for the 23rd.
I love that game. We just recorded on it before I came out here.
Awesome, yeah.
It's going.
Yeah.
I love it.
They're saying 23rd is episode 3.
That's right.
I can't wait to see where it goes.
I know everything.
I'm a huge Borderlands fan, and a huge Telltale fan. A Wolf Among Us.
Yes, and Game of Thrones as well. Yeah.
I'm doing. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Doing American and anime, what's the huge? Is there a huge difference? I mean, I know anime you already have the lines already recorded, and you're trying to match and everything.
An emotion that's already been established.
Right. Is it a different process?
It's
between
very
Eastern and
different.
Western.
Yes, very much. Now, are you talking specifically anime and cartoons?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's usually.
I jumped out of video games really quick.
Oh, good. Usually, with anime, we record alone. So because that's the only way you can really do it. Because you have a TV in front of you, and you're matching those flaps, and you're reading the script like on the fly and looking up at the screen, and it's so it's hard to get those lines right. And so if you were recording with a bunch of people, it would just be an incredibly slow process. But with Western animation, we usually record as a group.
Right.
So we get to all look at each other in the eye as we're recording, if you're recording across from each other. And you kind of establish the beats that you want for each scene. So yeah, it's a very different process. But it's weird because I still I really love doing anime because you can see the emotion. There's something about being able to identify and convey what you're looking at.
Right.
And I don't know, it's almost freeing in a way for me.
So do you prefer anime over?
I don't prefer one over the other for sure, but I don't know. They both have their.
You get paid to play, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I am incredibly lucky and blessed to be doing what I'm doing.
That's awesome.
#blast.
So yeah, you started right out of high school. Did you just? I know it's a very cliched question, but did you say I want to be a voice actor, or did you just start wanting to be just in theater and acting?
I had taken theater in high school, and I was in college when I started doing stuff at Funimation, but I was literally.
You should be watching.
You should be watching. I had done one semester with the theater program at my school, and then auditioned for a show outside of the college, and was doing a production in another city, and that's how I got the audition for Funimation. And I had not ever realized before that what I wanted to do was voiceover. And it wasn't even until, I had done all the time when I was recording at Funimation, and I was still doing a lot of film work as well. And it wasn't until I moved out to California, and it really opens up a lot more doors. Because in Texas, there's not as many studios doing, you know, there's Funimation and there's a couple video game companies, but there's not a ton of voice work. But in California, there's just studio after studio after studio, and everybody's doing games and everybody's doing different cartoons, and it's just like you can play, and it's amazing, and I really love voice acting.
That's cool. And you've done some live action stuff.
Yeah, I have.
And
recently, like lately, I'm doing more kind of on camera, but it's not quite film work because I'm working with Will Wheaton on this new show, Titan's Grave.
Yes.
Which is
it just got
it just got released. Yeah. So we filmed it, and the first episode released that last week.
Yeah.
And it's releasing every Tuesday on Geek and Sundry, and then every Friday on YouTube. But it's super fun, and it's like a role-playing RPG tabletop sort of thing, and it's super evolving. And
that's awesome. Yeah. I was talking with Nolan. He's doing Con Men.
That's right. Yeah.
And he's like, I love doing. I keep going back to Nolan North. Like I'm here with Laura Bailey.
It's okay. You can call me Nolan, not Nolan.
Not Nolan.
Write that across my.
But it's like he's the bridge between everyone I've talked to. I mean,
yeah.
So, and do you have any favorite stories of like working with groups, recording? Like,
oh man.
Do you have any funny John DiMaggio stories?
I've got so many John DiMaggio stories, but every single person that records with him has stories.
Yes.
One of my favorite people to record with is Roger Craig Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is, I can't even do one, but wait. He's a master at doing the fart hand, but he can like play songs.
The different tones.
So like when you're in between lines, he's like, and it's amazing. I don't know how he does it. Every week when we record Avengers Assemble, it's just ridiculous the amount of. I feel like I've said it before. I feel like we're all in detention, and it's all a bunch of kids that are acting up, and our poor director is trying to control us. Yeah.
It's Breakfast Club, the cartoon.
Exactly.
And you do the Avengers. Mm-hmm. So you're all over all the big stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
How often have you been doing cons?
Not as much.
Really?
I used to do a lot more, but there hasn't been as much time. Mm-hmm. So, this is one of the first ones.
So we're lucky.
Yes. This is one of the first ones I've done in a long time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to seeing like fans dressed up and stuff?
So much. Yeah. It's weird how comforting it is when you like walk in the door at a con and go, "Oh, I miss this."
And this con's great because it's more of a social con than a let's buy things con.
Right. Yeah, it definitely is.
The pass is just to get into the vendor room, and everything's just real relaxed. Everyone loves each other.
And the costumes are amazing.
Yes, we're getting photos like crazy.
I bet. I need to start doing that. Putting pictures on my Instagram. Look at what I saw.
So, do you have any horror stories about recording?
Horror stories?
Like anything
There is a booth that is haunted. Actually, there are booths that are haunted.
Really?
Yeah. At the studio where we record Saints Row. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have pictures of a ghost in the booth. But that's not a horror story from my experience. No, I mean outside of like Sean Schemmel farting in a booth, and then me having to record after him for like 4 hours.
Oh, that's wonderful.
After he's locked in the stank, he literally farted and ran out of the room and shut the door. So
it is like high school.
It is, and it's the whisper rooms are small. They're like the size of a closet, and they trap in everything because it's how you make it soundproof. So he really encapsulated that fart for me.
This is awesome. I'm a big fan of voice acting. I watched that movie John DiMaggio made. I know that voice.
Yeah.
And it made me realize that I can never be a voice actor.
No,
I was like,
why?
I can do imitations, but I can't stay
in the voice. That's the hardest part. Yeah, because that's the hard thing whenever I'm auditioning. Like, I auditioned for Omachow in Sonic. Mm-hmm. And I got the part, but when I was doing the voice, oh man, when I auditioned, I was like, I'm going to lose my voice if I keep doing this. And then I booked it, and I was like, oh crap. Because it was like, you do 4-hour sessions. And his voice is like up here. And I don't know what the heck I was thinking trying to do that. And Yeah, so my director actually had to like work with me during the recording, and I learned while I was recording that because Jack Fletcher, he's so trained and knows all of this stuff, and he like taught me how to hold my head and hold my body in order to keep the voice and be able to sustain it, and it helped out.
Yeah, I find voice acting so much more rigorous than acting.
Yeah.
Because you have to, you engulf that character, you know.
Right. Well, I mean.
And you have to bring out all your emotions in a voice.
Yeah, and it's funny. A lot of people that are amazingly talented actors on camera, when you get them in a booth, it's not quite the same because their face is so expressive, and they're used to being able to convey an emotion with like, you know, their eyes, and not being able to have that anymore. It's difficult.
Yeah, it's more of an audio emotion, and it's really cool. I mean, now I'm fanboying again.
Oh my god.
I'm sitting with Fiona. I'm going into Chris Farley now. You remember doing Dragon Ball?
That was crazy.
that was cool.
That was the best, man. That was the best.
Remember when you were Trunks?
Yeah, that was nice.
Now, you did the video games too, right? The Dragon Ball.
The Dragon Ball Z video games, yes, I did.
And you re-recorded the voices.
Yeah, you know, and what's funny is that so many times in the Dragon Ball Z video games, our lines are almost exactly the same as they have been in the previous games, only slightly tweaked. And so yeah, it's this weird like, what am I doing? What am I saying? I feel like, and I've done it like 5 times in 10 years, and you're like, ah.
It's like a haunted ADR.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. So usually our video game sessions are really funny because Chris Sabat always makes a joke out of it, and he always tries to like keep it a little fresh. So Trunks has turned, I think from the time we started recording, Trunks has turned into such a little punk. I mean, everything he says is like, screw you, man. I'm awesome, you know.
I'm Trunks.
That's
cool. And I had to mention Soul Eater.
Yes.
I love that show.
That's one of my favorite shows to ever have worked on. The animation is so freaking amazing.
Oh, and yeah, it's beautiful. Even the backgrounds and everything.
Yeah.
It was very cool. So I believe we are wrapping up. So 1 minute. 1 minute to live. So it was awesome meeting you.
You too, man.
Yeah, it was. Good luck with the rest of your time here.
Thank you. A couple more days.
Yeah.
Meeting people.
And the interviews and stuff. I
Yeah.
hope they go smoother than this one did.
This one was awesome, not Chris.
So